Hey everyone, Darren DOG from darrendog.com here. Just coming in with another little installment in this little mini-series on the magnetic feminine. And this time I'm going to continue on this theme of resistance, because a number of people asked me after the last video, how do I flip from the masculine to the feminine, especially if you're a woman in this instance. Now, this isn't as easy as it sounds, because you would think it'd just be a case of, hey, all I need to do is develop the desire to flip and it will happen. Well, yes and no. Yes, that is part of it. The other part, though, is about what is going on in the world around you, because to be able to open up to receive does require elements of trust and safety. And even you must trust yourself, you must trust the people that are in the space with you, you must have an element of safety in that you can take care of yourself, or that know that others around you are able to take care of you. And without those conditions being true, we will naturally resist anything that's a little bit too adventurous or a little bit too risky seeming in a given situation. And there is a word, a spell. Those of you that know me and my words and spells will know there'll always be a spell associated with it. And the spell that really lets us know about resistance and what resistance is all about is this spell here. No. No. Okay, so no is the first aspect of the masculine that any of us encounter, because it is one of the very few forms of the masculine that children are able to wield. Now, this aspect of so if we remember in my system of electromagnetic gender, electromagnetic interaction, the masculine is the electrical and the feminine is the magnetic. And really all this stuff about taking charge or being charged up, kids can't really take charge of situations unless it's play. You know, they can't really take care of the boundary and things like that, like the larger masculine does. But the one thing they can do is they can protect their own boundaries with the word no. And it is the first line drawing that any of us learn. And it's masculine because it's a line drawing. It is a non-acceptance. It is, we are not together in this. There is discernment and distinction here. Very masculine. So no, N-O is masculine. And the problem with resistance is we get into the habit of saying no to things. We can be constricted based on past experience and based on fear and other conditions. So how do we flip out of this no state? Well, we need the feminine side of this puzzle of the boundary. And the feminine side of it is this one. No. No. There's a similarity in sound. No. No. This is the masculine boundary. So if you think about it, I mean, the best example for this, you know, gender is a fractal. It turns up everywhere in life. The best demonstration of this management of resistance is in a cell. So in a cell wall, you have this semi-permeable electric membrane on the outside that decides what gets in and what gets out of the cell. When it's not letting something in or out, we're in this state. It's a hard membrane. You're not getting in, you're not getting out. No. But then when it opens, that's much more like, yeah, we're up for knowing what that tastes like. You know, we're up for knowing what it feels like to let this out of the cell. We know this needs to be let out of the cell, or we know this needs to be let into the cell. In you come. And that's exactly transposable into our interactions and relationships, really, which is where one is a masculine and the other one is feminine in our boundary management. And the best examples of this are with children, where we could say, no, sharp. Or we could say, no, sharp. We could say, no, hot. Or we could say, no, hot. This is a hard boundary. This one's a soft one. This one prevents experience. This one welcomes it. Now, here's where it gets fun. Because there are those of you that are saying this too much. And you're habituated into saying this either through past fears, past experiences, lost trust in life, lost trust in people, lost trust in men, lost trust in the world. And we see our world becomes smaller and we resist change that comes. No! That's all right up to a point, but there's times when saying no too much stops your world from growing and stops you from welcoming in that which is needed for much needed change. So, no. And this is about experience already gained. And the point of this one is that there are things that you know you need to be saying no to. Might be people, might be substances, might be food, might be something else. Or there might be situations arise where you know you need to say no, but you don't. Or you know you want to say no, but you don't. This is all gender imbalance around our ability to manage our resistance. It's vital. It's a vital thing to handle our resistance so that we may know that which is ours to be learned. So, how does this influence what I was talking about before about attraction and radiation and magnetism? Well, because when you do open up to let yourself know again, to know men again if you'd been saying no for a while, to know new experience again if you've been saying no for a while. The problem is you are affected within your state by past experiences and what's happened in the past. And it influences what you attract massively. It influences the quality of what you attract and the quantity of what you attract. And this is where we get into the subject of saying that you're open to, say, for example, say women wanting to know the masculine, know a positive masculine, know a good man. If you are opening to receive the masculine and the quality of it is not what you think you deserve or have earned, then I would say that this is influenced a little bit by what you already know. In fact, it's probably influenced quite a lot by what you already know. And I'm not just talking about conscious knowledge. I'm talking about the subconscious stuff, the stuff that is trapped as knots and hidden resistances that you perhaps have forgotten about. Those influence what you attract massively. And it doesn't matter whether you think you are opening up your omega energy correctly. You might well be opening up the omega female within you perfectly fine. But based on what you're carrying within your state of knowing, what you are attracting in is not what you want. And so what we have to change is what you know. And that is what I'm going to do in the next video. This one was about understanding the difference between no and no, is realizing they are deeply related to our sense of resistance. But the big point is, the big question is, say for example, and I've had a number of women speak to me about this over the last few weeks on consultation calls, where they've basically said, yeah, but I keep attracting boys. Yeah, but I keep attracting addicts. Yeah, but I keep attracting this. Why? I'm not that. I don't do that. Why is it? It's not because of something that's necessarily in your conscious awareness, but it is something that's in your subconscious somewhere. And it is to do with what parts of you think they know about the masculine. And it is affecting what you are attracting massively. And so in the next video, what we're going to look at is how to heal your judgment of the masculine so that you can attract a higher quality of masculine. And it's going to involve quite a deep healing, because most women I've worked with and most women I know have personal wounds from individual men that have caused them to have judgments for all men, despite them hoping some men will prove them wrong. But that's kind of the wrong energy to have, you see. We need to be viewing it that what you've had is actually the exception and that the high quality and caliber is out there. But before you can attract that, you need to change what's going on inside in your own omega state so that you can draw that. And I'm going to pay all the attention on how we tidy that up so that you can heal your judgment of the masculine and, in fact, be healed by the greater positive masculine, which is something I'm greatly looking forward to sharing with you, because that is going to be the next piece of our puzzle in you attracting the right quality of energy, but also being aware of, what's involved in changing what you attract by realizing how much of it is influenced by what you know or what you think you know. That is the key. A lot of it is what you think you know, and life ends up just going and proving it to you. And you just hear the tales of the difference and wonder, why am I not getting that difference? Well, it's because of what you think you know. And whether you realize it or not, it's influencing what you attract. So that'll be next time. So to summarize this time, it's really about understanding that resistance boundary, that resistance membrane that we all have, flips from no, hard line, to no, which is welcoming. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yes. Now, what I've not addressed is how you flip. Well, that's going to form part of a later video, because I've become aware I talk too much. I need to make shorter videos. That's what this is part of. And even this one's too long for some people with modern attention spans. So I hope just having the subject of no and no is enough for one video. And I want to leave you with one spelling quirk to finish off with, which is related to these two no's. The masculine no and the feminine no. And that is that those two no's complement what I like to call the two eyes. And that is, we are in this life, this universe, where we have two eyes, two hands, 2 feet, and they seem to balance with competing desires and interests within us. So you may have the eye that wants chocolate and the eye that doesn't. The eye that wants a drink and the eye that doesn't. The eye that wants a man and the eye that doesn't. The eye that wants a woman and the one that doesn't. The eye that wants change and the eye that doesn't. We have to manage these competing interests within us. And the thing that balances the interests of the two eyes is the two no's. What do you know about too much chocolate, too much alcohol, the wrong type of men, this, that and the other? What do you know about it? Where do you need to be saying no more? Where do you know you need to be saying no? And where is you saying no too much getting in the way of you knowing? Balancing off these interests and acting on these will greatly bring about change. But not only that, it's going to really help you get a sense of the feeling of moving from the masculine form of resistance. That's only one aspect of the masculine, but lets you know what it feels like. And that opening feeling of knowing. And these are great basic exercises and basic routes in to be able to spot the subtler nuances of where gender turns up in our lives.